Welcome to this TNA iMPACT review, not the ECW review. I'm saying this very openly because the only thing this show was mostly covering was ECW. I didn't like it. But I will talk only about the things I did enjoy. The beginning of the show with the six-sided ring. That was the most prominent thing. And I got to say about Kurt Angle. I am very glad, and I'm going to be honest here. I really hope Kurt will not go back into actual wrestling. He doesn't become an active wrestler. I'd rather see him in this role being the executive director. I really would love it that he stays in this position because his promos are short, to the point. I like the cheat sheet paper he does because he forgets his lines. I love that. And he made the six-sided ring completely prominent. Now for me personally, by the time I saw TNA, that was around 2010, just a little after they got rid of the ring, I didn't get a chance to really take that in. Seeing the six-sided ring really prominently, and that doesn't count pay-per-views. Pay-per-views do not count whenever they bring it out. But seeing the ring the way it was really gave it an entirely different dynamic. The first time I saw the six-sided ring, Genesis 2006. I had never seen a six-sided ring for wrestling before. And it was such a different, weird feel. I ain't going like, why the hell are they doing UFC? But as I saw that pay-per-view, I realized it was such a different feeling. But I have to admit, I got this in 2008. This is a 2006, I got in 2008. So I'm sorry. I'm not going to lie about that. But seeing the ring throughout the night made it such a different dynamic. If the crowd wasn't really jazzed for it, I was. Now, when it came to Taz, and I've always griped on Taz. Taz has always gone too damn far with his talking, his promos, his stupid attitude, his actions. But I gotta say this. The way Taz talked, even though bringing in ECW, it does tie into going into TNA. He tried to really bring out the fact that we, the TNA fans, the TNA locker room are doing something innovative like the place I got my mark as ECW. I felt if they had ended it there, it would have been perfect. Taz isn't one of the greatest guys to use in that position, but he did do it well enough that it got over 100%. When Tommy Dreamer and Bully Ray came out, ruined it. I'm sorry, it did. They went too far with this. They let ECW come in and overwhelm the entire product. When it comes to the match between Ethan Carter III and Rhino versus Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer, I felt it was an alright match, and the right ones won. Rhino and EC3 won, and I'm glad they did. If it was ECW, I would have been incredibly angry. But then when we come to the ending of the show, which I believe there was no need for. I'm going to say this honestly. Dixie should never came out. EC3 should never came out. Rhino should never came out. Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer, even Rockstar Spud. That entire segment was not necessary. They went too far covering ECW. For me personally, I know most people will probably like and say, hey, it was great. They made it very prominent to try and make things interesting. Look, I've said this already before. When it comes to Ethan Carter III, and I know people have already said, look, the guy is no WWE guy. He's not that great on the mic. He's not a great wrestler. He's not a great talker. He's nothing. It doesn't matter. The guy never went all the way through WWE's developmental. They got rid of him. He didn't go into the main roster completely. Maybe a few times he might have been on it. He generally was a reject person. And in this respect, since TNA is taking the really bad rejects, the ones that never really made it, and they're trying to do something, ergo Crazy Steve and Ethan Carter III, I believe that it's important that the ones who really never made it in WWE should make it in TNA. And yes, I know he's not that good. I'm not saying he is. But he at least is something different. And this is what we need to focus on, not all the WWE guys. At least something that can give us something for the future. I'm trying to see the future here, ladies and gentlemen. And I do not see the future very well for TNA if they continually keep trying to bring in ECW, WCW, and WWE. Prominent WWE guys. Prominent ones. And that leads me to Jeff Hardy versus Lashley. Two guys who are WWE guys, I know. And I've made my feelings about Jeff. He had his moment. He was in the top position for a while. Then he dropped. Well, the top position under Cena. And he dropped. Lashley never even had that option. The most he had was the ECW championship. And that, in a sense, was their developmental. They never went anywhere with him. But the thing that makes him different from any other WWE guy is that he's black. And now he's a champ. And that makes him different. Only in the respect that we rarely get anyone of Caucasian color as a head guy of the company. And how was the match? In actuality, it was actually a pretty good match. Seeing Jeff do a swanton onto some steel steps was not something I would like to see often. Because he can get easily hurt, and next thing you know, he can go and fall back in the same position he was, taking drugs because of pain. But in the end, Lashley won that title. Well, not won the title, what am I saying? Retained the title. You see how I feel about this show I'm botching. I'm glad Lashley retained the title. I'm glad he's still being prominently featured. And I'm also glad he won clean. No one came out from the back. No Kenny King. No MVP. It was just him straight up on his own. Just use Bobby as the muscle guy and the wrestling guy. Do not let him talk. Don't let him do promos. Nothing. Because he's not good at it. Let Kenny King and MVP do it. And let's lead into MVP and Kenny King versus EY and Robert Roode. I'm happy to see that Robert Roode and Eli is still being used. It's just that I really believe Robert Roode should be breaking off dealing with MVP directly. But since he still has a torn meniscus, he still can't really do anything yet. But they did try to give us a little taste of what could happen. So this tag team match, what happened? Kenny King was basically the fall guy for this. Now, I'm not happy about that. The guy does deserve more, but he's still being prominently featured. And like I said, for the future of TNA, we need to prominently feature the guys that are already there. And seeing this was actually pretty good. I do hope that they keep Kenny King in the main event scene. Let him go after the title eventually, going against a Bobby Lashley or anyone else. We need new blood in the main event. I'm glad to see that in the main event, even if it's not for the title, they are doing something. In the end, it was a DQ, and I'm glad to see it. I'm glad. And after that, Bobby Roode and now MVP are going to have a match next week. Am I interested in seeing it? I actually am. I want to see how they're going to try and squirm MVP out of it if he still, supposedly still has his torn meniscus. I think he's already recovered, but you never know. Now here's a match I believe was dumb. A no DQ, no countouts match for Brittany and Madison Rayne. The problem I had with it was this. Brittany, who's brand new, should be getting over at least once in a while. Madison Rayne should not win this. If you want to make their feud interesting and prominent, if you want to try and have a crazy, factuated female knockout about a older female knockout who isn't as pretty as her, why not let her win? She should have won this match. The kicker for me was they didn't use any weapons. They didn't use any chairs. They barely spent any time outside, even though it was somewhat. But in the end, Brittany could not win. And I believe that was stupid that they let Madison Rayne win it. Honestly, this is the reason why I hate TNA, that they let the more prominent people they've had there for a long time that's not really doing a lot, and they bury the younger talent. You need the younger talent to get over. Like EC3, unfortunately he got put through a table at the end of the show by Devon and Bully Ray, and they sacrificed him for the ECW gods. Brittany, who's a knockout, should have better prominence. I'm just saying. Now, the 8-man gauntlet match, I believe, was a very, very good match. I did enjoy quite much. Seeing that Austin Aries was being put over very, very, very well made me very happy. Sonata, particularly, this is what I'm worried about with Sonata. They bring him in for Wrestle 1, they let him have a little bit of prominence, and then they throw him to the wayside like they did with Kenny King when he first came in from ROH. But now they're having Sonata going from being X Division champion, dealing with a real feud with the James Storm. I am so happy to see that James Storm is working with Sonata, that they're actually going to do something. Maybe the great Muda will be involved in. I'm not saying they're going to bring in Muda. I haven't really checked the website. I know Devon has been brought in, so he's on the roster. I have not checked to see if Muda's on the roster. If he is, maybe he's finishing up with Wrestle 1. Then we'll have 2 Japanese wrestlers. Even if it's only temporary with Muda, give us more than what we normally get. And I want to see that. I want to see this interest in bringing up new talent, giving them prominent features. Older talent that's been dropped by the wayside, that had their moment and then it was ripped from them because of bad management, is being brought back up, like a James Storm, helping a Sonata get brought in. That's what I'm hoping for, and that's what I'm getting. And in the end, what will we get next week? Well, I don't know. I'm not sure how the next week of the tapings are going to be. I'm very glad they are using this 6-sided ring. As I said at the beginning of the show, it really gives a very different dynamic. The different angles you can get from the ring is very good. It kind of, for me, it disorientates me a little bit because I'm not used to seeing 6 sides to a 4-sided ring. It just makes my mind go, what? Why is there another edge to that ring? I'm going like, it's cool, but it's so strange. It's not a bad thing. It's actually very good. So I'm glad they brought back the ring. But here's the problem. ECW was so prominent in this show, and I'm sure the next tapings are going to be the same thing. It almost negates most of what has been done. And that's what upsets me the most. Really, it does. I'm really, really hoping that the next tapings will be a lot lower in intensity with ECW. But I don't believe that. And that's why I believe that TNA is making the most horrible mistake in these tapings. If they do not reduce the amount of need for ECW, when you move off from New York, what then? Not everyone's interested in guys from ECW. They consider them old has-beens, or they've been used so much that when they get over, it hurts the product. But I have to say, at least, the crowd was very interested in it. The ring was very good. Most of the matches were good. A lot of explanations, like with Jeff Hardy switching from Willow back to himself, was okay. I'm alright with that. But I'd love to hear what you guys think. So I hope you enjoyed the Zane view. Please give me a comment below. Give me a thumbs up. Maybe I might be seen a little bit more and everybody can see my intellect. You guys give me an idea what I should be doing next. And I will be doing my Battleground review. I do have something to do on Sunday. I'm going to help someone repair the computer a little bit. I don't know computers that well, but I'm going to see if I can help her if I can. That's if she's able to have the time. She may have to go to see somebody herself. But if the review is on a Tuesday along with Raw, I'm sorry. You guys have a good day. Peace out.